Hi everyone, so on today's video we're going to jump into 3D modeling in Rhino 7. If you haven't watched some of our previous videos, make sure that you go into our previous content library and look at those. Great overview. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel for more tutorials on Rhino 7, as well as content about architecture, design, and real estate development. So we'll just jump right in. Today's tutorial will look at 3D modeling a water bottle, and it looks something like this, right? Very basic. Basically a cylinder, there's a bit of curve at the lid, and then there's some metal material. So we'll kind of look into that, but very simple still, and wanted to introduce you to some basic commands. So first things first is going into your file, 3D modeling file. You can go to File, New, and essentially just open this up. So going into my front view, I'm going to draw a curve. And what you're going to do is draw a profile and then revolve that around and see what that looks like. So let's start with, let's start at 0, 0, 0. So I'm going to type that in. Then I'm going to draw, let's say, 200 millimeters. Let's say 200. So I'll zoom out with my wheel. So click. And then it kind of curves up if you look at this water bottle, right? So I'm just gonna say that's maybe 15 mils. And then it goes up again. I'm gonna model the top. Let's say that goes up 30 mils. I think that's good. And then now the water bottle isn't solid, right? So actually it's just like a thin material. So we'll want to think about offsetting that. But first, let's think about what is the diameter of the water bottle. Let's just say it's about 2 inches, so it's like 50 millimeters. That, right? So let me select this, hit join. So now it's one curve. Now I want to offset this by whatever thickness I feel that it is. So I'm going to type in offset. And right now we're in millimeters, so I'm going to offset it by, let's just say 5 millimeters. Offsetting it by the inside, right? And then I'm going to see if I can create a closed loop. So I kind of touch those endpoints, make sure again your O snap is on so that you can make sure that these are snapped. And actually before I do that, these corners are quite sharp, so let's fillet those corners. So type in fillet, radius of let's just say 10. See what that looks like. I'm okay with that. But I'm going to Control Z and do that again because my trim is not on, so I'll make sure that's on. And then this edge is maybe a bit less, so let's do fillet, radius of, let's say 3. I'm okay with that. And then I'll do the bottom as well. So maybe I'll delete this. I'll offset again of 5. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so I'm going to grab all these lines. I'll type in join. And then it's good. I'll just select that. It has one open end, and I'm just going to hit closed curve. So that would be good. Next you'll see, so this is what it looks like in 3D, right? Next we want to type in the revolve command. So next when we type that in, we need to start the revolve axis. This would be right down the center, for example. Angle, start of the angle is, let's say in the top view or even in the perspective, we can click here. And then we want it 360. Delete input, let's say no. And let's just rename this, or let's make it to this layer. think we'll hit enter, see what that looks like. Let's create this, change it to the rendered or shaded view. Right, and that's a water bottle. There you go, right? Very basic. We can always rename this to, black water bottle body. It's important to have separate layers for separate materials. That's one good way of separating your layers, right? And then this could be your, it's called the red layer curve. So we just renamed the layer here to curves, and we can always choose that polyline choosing the change layer command and switching it to curves, right? So now we can toggle this on and off as needed. And next, what we want to do is maybe model the cap right here, right? So it's a cylinder, and we got a bit of a lip as a handle. So we can model that next. I'm thinking I could just do a cylinder, and then I can model the handle separately and then combine them together. So, one way of doing that is by simply clicking the curves. I can check off center point here. And right now I have the projected command on, so it made it go to the 0 axis. I'm just going to shift this up. Then I'll offset it by, say, this distance. So then now, I think if I extrude the curve up, let's say 15. That's what it looks like, right? So we might want to change that layer. Let's rename this to water bottle we'll rename this to water bottle cap, and then we can change the layer to type in change layer to the water bottle cap, right? So you can see those are distinct elements. Right, next we will draw the handle. So let me say grab this. This go by say 20 millimeters. And then let's see if I can grab. Well, I'll just grab this. I can always mirror it. And then I'll join these, and I'll fill it, bit of a curve there by radius of 10. And then maybe I'll offset this by 3. Seems a bit much, let's say 2. And then let's see if we can join those. Join and then close curve. There you go. I'll just move this to the center now. Right? And then I can move this up. So now you can see what it looks like there. And then now I can extrude curve. Make sure it's checked on the water bottle cap. And then we can even do both sides, right? So look at that. Since our curve is in the center, we can extrude on both sides. And looking at what that measurement is, I think we'll do something like 5 on both sides. So there you go. Switch off the curves. Next we can select both solids and type in BooleanUnion. So now these are two combined objects. If you really wanted to, you could even, draw a lip so that the lid kind of like carries forward there. So we could use that solid, for example. Cylinder. If we want to roughly, I believe it's here, and then we zoom out. What does that look like? Let's do 10. We can move that up. Let's see. Right, then we can combine those again, BooleanUnion. So you can see what that looks like. It's like a cap with a bit of a lip there, so it kind of fits in. And then next we can see like this water bottle that I'm showing you has a metal kind of detail here. On the bottom is metal as well. We might want to separate those parts of the solids so that we can render them as separate materials perhaps. So if we're going to split this blue object right here to have that metal lip top and bottom, what we can do is create a plane that essentially splits or slices through that object, and then we can create them into separate elements. So what I'll do is I'll select this command. It's called surface, and I will create a plane. Again, have project on. Right, so this is a plane, and then I'm going to move it up to some distance. Let's just say 20. And I'm also going to do that at the top, so I'm going to make a copy. And then I'll see if I can grab something there. Turn on the curve so I can grab that corner. Okay, and then let's move that by 20 as well, let's say. Move it 20 and then click. Alright, so I have two planes. I want to slice that top and bottom. Seems a bit thick. Let me move that up by 5. I'll click. Then I'll do the same here. Move that down by 5. And just aesthetics, so it's not a big deal. Alright, next we'll use a split command. So type in split. Select the object you want to split. So that's the blue one. Hit enter and then select cutting objects. So that'll be this green one, these two green ones. And then we don't need these planes anymore, so I'll just delete them. And what you'll notice is you'll have a couple objects here and then a couple objects there. So I'm going to rename this purple layer, for example, call it metal. And I'll turn off the curves. And I'm going to select the objects here, and I'll hold shift and I'll select those objects. And then I'm going to change that to the metal layer. And let's turn off the blue for a second. So you'll know you have these two planes, right? And I still need to make it a solid. So what you can do is cap. select objects with a cap. There's these two. And then now I think you should have something like that. It turns out we have two solids, so I can actually BooleanDifference, for example, BooleanDifference. Subtract from is the bigger one, hit enter, and then subtract with is the smaller one. I'll hit delete input, and then we have something like that, right? So that's good. Another option is we can make surface. I think it's make surface. And so that was just cap surface. Let me take off the water bottle. Let's turn that off to see. So this is all connected. We can use that cap command. And there you go. So these are solid. This is solid as well. And then you can turn back all your objects. And there you go. So there you have it. Quick tutorial on how to 3D model a water bottle, as well as making sure that each of your different material elements are separate objects, so that when it comes time to potentially rendering, you will be able to isolate each of those objects and allow them to have different material properties. And if you like this video and got value out of it, make sure that you like the video, comment, and subscribe. We're always coming out with new videos every week teaching you about Rhino, and we'll be jumping into design, architecture, and real estate development.